Hey folks, hope you're doing good today, having a good weekend and all that jazz. Now we usually have a punk on a Sunday, but today we're going to do some rock instead. What I'm thinking is maybe on a Sunday we'll alternate between rock and punk. See how it goes. We've got our friends back on the show. We mentioned them in the end of the year roundups as well. We've had them on our show a bunch of times. These guys just love being on the show, but I love having them on the show as well. This is Keelie. They've got another track for us, Coco Bongo, this one is. So yeah, let's check it out. Every track we've checked out from these, which I think is about 4 now. These guys have had a different sound, they've had a different tone on the bass, on the guitars. It's got loads of distortion on the vocal this time. This one's more rocky, we've had punky ones, we've had sludgy ones. Very nice. Nice dirty bass. They really got a good recording of this jam out. You can hear all the elements of the band nicely, the drums are recorded nicely as well. It's all balanced. You know, some it's not really loud compared to everything else, so it works out nicely. Great job. Now I love a well-mixed record, as you know, but there's one thing I love more than a well-mixed studio record, and that's a well-mixed live performance. And I'd say this is one of those great mixes because you can hear all the band nicely. It's got that live rawness to it, but it's still a good mix. It's balanced well. All the members of the band have got their right place in the mix. You know, it's not like the vocals are too loud or the guitars are too loud or quiet. You know, it's all balanced nicely. So I just love that the most is when you get a great live recording because you know it's done on the spot. It's a performance, you know, it's not kind of a bunch of great takes, the best takes that you did in the studio and chopped up and copy and pasted and all that stuff. It's a live, real performance. You know that they can play their songs on the spot and do it well, and you get a great listener to it all as well and to watch it on the video. So yeah, I just love that. These guys have been on the show a bunch of times now, and because of that, I've really grown fond of them. I think they're a great band. And every time we've had them on the show, they've done something different for us. Rock, punk, sludgy stuff. So you never really know what's going to come out of this band, but it's just going to be a great sound and energy and performance because, you know, every track's been spot on. There's been no mess ups or dodgy sounds or, you know, iffy parts. It's just sounded great every time. So there you go. Great band. Enjoy them every time. Next, we're going to check out this band called Welcome to the Madhouse, Adam and the Hellcats. Oh, the track's called Welcome to the Madhouse. This is Adam and the Hellcats. And if I remember correctly, let me just double check. Yeah, it says they're an 8-piece rock and roll band from Bristol in the UK. So yeah, 8-piece. We don't get that too often. So let's see what they do with all those members. Fred is coming for us. Good creepy atmosphere. Here we go. We got some hip-hop elements in this one. Funky elements to this one as well in the vocal, the way the accent's coming through in the vocal, you can tell he's British. Oh, I'm not seeing 8 members in this band, we've seen 3. I'm not sure where the other 5 are. They couldn't make it to the video shoot.
Drive me insane. Politicians saying there ain't enough money. They're sitting in while drinking tea and honey. They don't see what goes on in the madhouse. If they did, they wouldn't act like louds. Feel like you're tripping all the time. Even when you think you're fine. This place is to the moon. All it does is take your soul. Lose your mind. Lose your mind.
Some nice different vocal layering and stuff in there. Nice bass line in there. They've got a decent mix, it's nice and wide. It's got a decent loudness to it. There's lots of layers of sound. We've got the synth. Quite a thick guitar tone. The bass tone's nice in there as well. Quite punchy and weighty drums. So yeah, it's got a good sound. I think it's, I don't know, it's just kind of missing a bit of oomph, this one, and I'm not really sure how you'd get that going in the mix. It's loud and it's wide, and normally when it's losing a bit of oomph, it's because you kind of pan it out a bit more or pump it louder, but it's got those two things going on for it. Cool. Now, I must admit, I was expecting to see all 8 people and see what they were doing in this band. Now, I can't say that we heard 8 different layers of instrument in there. And I'm pretty sure I've got the right page and everything. And it definitely says here, look, we're an 8-piece rock and roll band from the deepest, darkest Bristol. They got Status Quo and Queen and Saxon and Motorhead as their influences. So yeah, a lot going on, I guess, in this band. But I was expecting to see 8 people. I was expecting, well, what are they going to do with 8 people? I'm sure maybe they're going to bring in trumpets and things like that. I was thinking, I wasn't too sure. But yeah, cool track. Kind of hip-hop influence to that one as well, which is something I wasn't really expecting. And a nice mix. To say it's nice and loud and nice and wide, but for some reason I think maybe it needed a bit more bass or something like that to just give it a bit more oomph, you know, because it kind of just seemed a bit like it was a bit restrained in some ways. And I always like it when it's kind of going for the max. But yeah, hopefully we can get more submissions out of these guys if they are an 8-piece rock and roll band, and see what all 8 members are doing, because 8 members in a band is a lot of people, you know. That's a lot of instruments to kind of get your hands on and do all the stuff with, even if you had a few guitarists in there. So yeah, I was interested to see what 8 people do. You know, it could have been a Slipknot band or something like that. Anyway, we're going to finish off with this last band for today. This is Walking with Crows. Their track is called Little Man. It's an official music video. These guys are out of Ontario, Canada, which is pretty cool. Love to have bands out of that area of the world. So there's another one to add to the list. Let's check them out. Oh, this guy's got a stand-up bass.
What's next? Do we know? Will we ever see your show again? That's life, sure we know. But it's really hard for us to
Yeah, the strings on it are slapping away as well. I think I can just crank this one up a little bit.
Little man on your own. Were you thinking of us at all in the end? Did you smile on your throne?
Nice snare sound. That bass sounds great. When it hits that open string, it's got a real vibration to it.
I can't believe that you're gone, my friend. I can't believe that I wasn't there. I can't believe that this is the end, the end, the end, the end.
Yeah.
It's make believe that you're standing tall. It puts my back up against the wall. I see your face and it's always there. It's there, it's there, it's there. Yeah, it's there, it's there, it's there. Yeah, it's there, it's there, it's there.
Cool. This one's got a good sound, got a good energy. It's got that kind of late 90s rocky sound.
Of all the things in the world that we see, a single voice can be heard from inside of me, crying out for you to hear. I know you wouldn't want.
Yeah, loving that bass tone. It's one of the first basses like that we've had on the channel. It's quite unusual to see. It sounds great. Yeah, these guys have got quite a British sound, I would say. A lot of British bands had this sound in the late 90s, moving into the 2000s. Oasis and stuff like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I would say it's quite a British sound, but they're doing it nicely. It sounds great. It sounds authentic. tone. Yeah, drummer's working it out nicely to give the song nice energy. Great job. That sounded like it should. Reminded me of the late 90s, what they used to call Brit rock. Loads of bands doing it at the time. It had a cool sound. It was really quite a popular sound as well. You know, those bands were big in the charts in the UK. I don't know about other places in the world. I can only really say about the UK. But yeah, these bands were kicking it in the late 90s into the 2000s. It was really a popular sound. Then we started to get in more of that kind of pop punk sound as well in the early 2000s. There was a lot of band music in that time. Not so much nowadays in the UK charts. It's all kind of hip hop and dance stuff. But yeah, there was a time in the UK, late 90s into the 2000s, where all the bands sounded like this. They were all rock bands, playing instruments, similar kind of solos with the wah and stuff as well, which sounded cool. So yeah, interesting though that this band had that stand-up bass. I thought that was cool. I thought it had a great sound to it as well. So, you know, you want the sound out of your instrument more than anything. So if it's got a great sound, use it, you know. So maybe some more bassists need to think about that, because it had a really great sound. You could hear the vibration of the string. Every time you hit that open string, it just went wah, 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 wah. You know, I love to be able to hear that flap of the string and the vibration of it on a big open, thick string. It just sounds great. So yeah, it came through the mix really nicely. That did. It had a great tone. So I'd say more bassists think about that. But yeah, I think we've had a good rock day on the channel today. We're going to be kicking it off hard and heavy tomorrow with the grindcore. Tomorrow's going to be the first proper week on the show where we're going to get the usual format, kicking off with the grindcore. But we've started off the year nicely with some heavy hardcore, some heavy deathcore as well, and some metalcore. Now we've got some rock, and then next week we'll be kicking it off properly. So there you go. Hope you're enjoying the new year already. Feels a lot like 2020 so far, but I guess it's going to. But yeah, hoping for a good year this year, so keep our spirits up. Anyway, hope you're having a good day and a good weekend and all that jazz. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.